Hare Krishna to everyone.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. We are back after taking a brief break with our Saturday conversations. We had a lot going on. Leicester is still in lockdown, as I'm sure most places in the world are. So, very happy to welcome you all back. Today, we have a very special conversation with a very special guest. Please give a warm welcome to Hari Parshad Prabhu again. Welcome. Thank you for joining us again.
Thank you for kindly inviting me once again. It's an honor and a privilege to be speaking something about Karma Yoga and Bhakti Yoga. Thank you so much.
It's our honor. No, please. We're so excited because it seems like a topic that is misunderstood in one sense and also misrepresented. There's some kind of air about karma that sabko pata hai, sab jante hain karma kya hai. It's become an English word practically. We all know what karma is. Karma is, I don't want to finish the sentence, but there's an English sentence that goes, meaning everyone feels like they understand what karma is, but we'll explore that, what it truly means from the Bhagavad Gita, and how to make sense of it when you compare it to the other paths that the Lord describes, because it's not all the same, right? There's this understanding it's okay if we just do what we maybe think is good. Somehow that will be enough, and that will be okay, and that makes me right, and that makes me good. But when we really explore and do the research and study, we understand your right may not be my right. What's good for you is not good for me, and therefore there is an objective idea of karma, right? There's a karma yoga is not just what we like, what we think is good. So I'm so excited to have you here, Prabhu, because you have so much knowledge, and it's important to understand from the scripture what it really is. So please take it away.
Yeah, before we begin, it is Shishta Parampara. Shishta Parampara means it is the practice of the previous great authorities that every program must have some auspiciousness. So every event must begin with something auspicious. So usually we perform some invocations, auspicious invocations. So I will begin with auspicious invocations, and those who have heard these auspicious invocations, they can sing along with me.
Yes.
Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Soyam Rupah Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitanscha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvishe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Eva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे
Hare
हरे राम
Hare
हरे
Ram,
राम
Hare Ram.
राम राम हरे हरे अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय.
Jai Ho. Really makes a difference. I can just feel it in the. Thank you for that.
Thank you so much once again for kindly inviting me. I'm so happy to be speaking once again here on the topic of Karma Yoga and Bhakti Yoga, because this is Karma Yoga and Bhakti Yoga. These topics are frequently spoken about in the Bhagavad Gita, and many individuals have a very strange relationship with Bhagavad Gita, because they have Bhagavad Gita, and they say that we know Bhagavad Gita, but many a times, individuals may not have taken the effort to read these intricacies of the Bhagavad Gita. So it's important to have a healthy discussion on these aspects of the Bhagavad Gita, so that if there are any, if there is any misinformation about Karma Yoga, if there is any confusion about Karma Yoga, those things can be clarified by hearing what the Bhagavad Gita actually says. So that is
Actually
very
says
important.
yes.
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 Because there has been a popular understanding of Bhagavad Gita, and in India, I have also seen something called as Gita Sar. Gita Sar means जो हो रहा है अच्छा हो रहा है, जो होगा अच्छा होगा.
Huh.
This is whatever is happening for the good. Whatever is going to happen is going to happen for the betterment of everyone. So uh, many individuals say that this is Bhagavad Gita, but actually Bhagavad Gita, it has 700 verses, and there is a lot of intricate discussion on Karma Yoga and Bhakti Yoga in the
Yeah,
Bhagavad Gita.
that point that you just brought up, it's a very valid point. कि जो हो रहा है सब अच्छा हो रहा है, whatever is happening is for the good. But that stage of that kind of surrender to the Supreme Person, it's a very high level of surrender. That it's not just
Right.
words. कि हाँ सब अच्छा हो रहा है. So
Ji.
there's so many different. The spectrum is huge of where we are actually, not just words.
Right.
Sorry to.
Right. Yeah, and many of us have a strange relationship with Bhagavad Gita. There is a nice Sanskrit verse which describes this relationship. अतिपरिचयाद अवज्ञा संतत गमनाद अनादरो भवति मलये भिल्ल पुरंद्री चंदन तरुकाष्ठम ईंधनम कुरुते.
Yes.
Atiparichayad avagya, that by if we are over familiar with something, we end up neglecting it or disrespecting it. And santatagamanaad anadaro bhavati, something is, we visit something frequently and we become disrespectful towards it. The example is given,
Yeah.
malaye bhilla parandri chandana tarukashtham indhanam kurute, that there is a lady who's born on Malay Parvat. Malay Parvat is a special hill which has only sandalwood trees. So this lady is born and brought up everywhere with sandalwood trees all around her, and she has become so used to sandalwood trees that she uses it for cooking her daily food.
Burning
So
every
right.
day. Yeah.
So similar is the relationship of many individuals with Bhagavad Gita, that they have it in front of them, but many of them do not actually open it and
Yeah.
take the
Not
efforts to
able to
read it.
take the time.
Right. So it's very important to discuss what is karma yoga and bhakti yoga, because what we have heard about karma yoga and bhakti yoga, if if it comes directly from the Bhagavad Gita itself, then we are sure that we don't have any misgivings about this topic.
Right.
So it's a very important topic, and it's a very frequently discussed topic, and therefore I would like to speak something about it today.
Please. Wonderful.
So often, we have heard that Bhagavad Gita means, uh, in Hindi they say, "Karm karo और फल की चिंता मत करो." That's what they say. that perform your duties and don't worry about the result. That's what is spoken about what is karma in the Bhagavad Gita. And this understanding has become so deep rooted in the collective psyche of the society that nowadays people have come up with new phrases such as work is worship. This is what has been propagated now. Work is worship.
Yes. Yes.
And
No need for temples, no need for people even. It is
right,
mera kaam, mera dharma hai.
right. So karma hi puja hai, like they say in Hindi. Work is worship.
Yes.
So then if I accept this as Bhagavad Gita, then there is a big problem, because somebody who's stealing will say my work is also worship,
Hmm.
and somebody who is an investment banker and is you know uh, cheating people of money, is not ethical in his business, is also saying this is my work, this is my worship. Hmm.
Right.
And somebody who's slaughtering animals in a slaughterhouse will say this is my work, this is my worship. So if work is worship, then we are on a slippery slope actually. And this definition may not be according to what is given in the Bhagavad Gita. So this is something which we should explore. What is karma? Because karma nowadays, if we ask people what is karma, karma is what we do in our office hours. That is what is karma.
Yeah. Action.
But
Any kind of action you take to further
yeah,
your life, further your
right,
existence.
right. And the definition has become narrowed down actually. Anything that you do for earning a living is karma.
Barabar. Right. Acha.
But if we see the Bhagavad Gita, especially if we see the third chapter, so in the third chapter, it is very clearly mentioned that nahi kaschit kshanamapi jatu tisthati akarmakrit. Third chapter, fifth verse. I am quoting directly from the Gita. So it's not that I am speaking something which is of my own imagination. So what I
Right.
will do is, I will quote this verse in the third chapter, fifth verse. Krishna says, "Nahi kaschit kshanamapi jatu tishthatya karmakrit." That actually nobody can stay for even a moment without performing karma. He said in Bhagavad Gita itself. So it's not that simply your office work is karma. All activities of human life are encompassed in the term karma. So this, including when one is sleeping, the activities of breathing, the activities of dreaming, these activities are also coming under the umbrella of karma. But somehow, what happened in the previous century is that because of the political changes that India was undergoing and the turmoil that India was undergoing, so the previous traditional explanations of karma became overpowered by newer explanations of the term karma.
Right.
And this new explanation of the term karma is that whatever you are doing for furthering the civilization, furthering the human society, that is
हाँ.
what is karma.
प्रोग्रेस प्रोग्रेस
Yes.
के नाम पे है वो कर्म है बाकी
Acha.
सब
So whatever is for the progress of the collective society, that became known as karma. So this change, although it was very subtle, but nowadays it has resulted in degradation, because frankly speaking, independence has been achieved. Now there is no more political goals to achieve right now. For India, at least, independence has been achieved. So the main goal which was there to be achieved in the previous century has been achieved. Then what do we do next? Next is karma. Then karma became synonymous with working hard to achieve economic progress. So karma means whatever you are doing for industrial civilization, that is karma. And
हम्म,
then the next step is whatever you are doing in your office, that is karma. And from there we have gone down a slippery slope actually. So karma, we have to revisit its definition and define exactly what is the meaning of karma which is given in Bhagavad Gita. What sort of karma is approved of in the Bhagavad Gita? Actually speaking, Krishna says that, like I quoted, na hi kaschit kshanam api jatu tishtati akarmakrit. That a person cannot remain without performing karma for even a single moment. So if this definition is correct, then all human activities are classified under the term karma. And Krishna says something very important. Yagyarthat karmanonyatra lokoyam karma bandhana. Actually, if we do not perform karma for the purpose of yajna, then whatever karma we perform will lead to further degradation and bondage in this world. Very clearly, he says. I will quote the exact verse number also.
Kya baat.
That third chapter, verse number 8, Krishna says, Yagyarthat karmanonyatra lokoyam karma bandhana. He says, you have to perform karma for the purpose of yajna. Now, if somebody asked, if we ask people what is the meaning of yajna, that you have to perform karma for yajna. If people are asked what is the meaning of yajna, people think yajna means to give ahuti and say swaha. That is
big fire sacrifice. नहीं,
fire
वो
sacrifice.
यज्ञ नहीं है.
Nahi, that is not the yajna which Krishna is speaking about. That you have to perform karma for yajna. So then the traditional authentic commentators like Sridhar Swami says, Yagyarthat means it is for Vishnu Priti Artham. Vishnu Priti Artham means for pleasing Vishnu. So
Right.
because one of the names of Lord Vishnu is Yagya, and it is given in Shastra Yagya Vai Vishnu. So in Shatapatha Brahman it is said Yagya Vai Vishnu. Actually Yagya is Vishnu himself. So
Wow.
all karma performed for Vishnu, that is actually karma yoga. Otherwise it is ordinary karma which puts us into bondage. It's a very simple definition. So any work which is done for the purpose of satisfaction of Vishnu, that becomes karma yoga. Yagyartha karma. Yagyartha karma means karma for the purpose of yajna. And yajna means Vishnu. So any work which is done for the purpose of satisfaction of Vishnu, that becomes known as karma yoga. Anyatra, otherwise, Krishna himself says lokoyam karma bandhana. Otherwise, if people do not satisfy Lord Vishnu, then what will happen is no matter what karma they are performing, it is going to lead to further degradation and bondage within this world. So and
Right. Very, very important point. If I could just briefly reiterate what you're saying, because this comment by Ms. Rakesh Malhotra ji is generally what we think and
right,
hear of karma. And but what you have just said is quite different to it, because you've
right.
highlighted
See,
that karma has to be for yajna, and
right,
yajna refers directly to the Supreme Person. So unless
right.
our work is for the, sorry, go on.
Right, because this so-called flowery definition that we hear, be a good person, and that is what is real karma in life. These definitions sound very good. We feel that they are very good, but they are not based on an absolute platform. They are on a relative platform. Because what is good for me, what seems good for me, may not seem good to you.
Exactly.
Two people.
Exactly.
We both of us don't have the same opinions of what is righteous and what is good. So what may be good for me, and if I am a thief, then what is good for me is not good for you. So we cannot have definitions of karma on the basis of relative platform, on a relative platform which has no fixed foundation. The fixed foundation is given in the Gita itself, so there is no need of inventing a new definition. Yagyarthat karmanonyatra lokoyam karma bandhana. I'm following Gita as it is. Karma yoga is to perform all karma for the sake of Vishnu, for the sake of satisfying Lord Vishnu. That is actually karma yoga. It's given right there, and I'm quoting the chapter number and verse number so that people won't say that he's imagining something. So chapter number 3 and the verse number is 8th. Yagyarthat karma. We have to perform karma for yagya. And yagya means Vishnu. And somebody may say, how do you know that, yagya is Vishnu? So again in the 12th chapter, 10th verse, Krishna says, Mat karma paramo bhava. That you perform karma for me. That
Right.
is how you will attain siddhi. So actually speaking, the traditional definition of karma yoga should be stuck to. Otherwise, if I give a new definition of karma yoga, that according to me what is right is karma, then you will say according to me what is right is karma. Then a third person will say according to me what is correct is karma. But we all of us don't agree on what is right and what is wrong. Then how will the definition of karma be fixed? And we have to have a fixed definition of karma. And the fixed definition of karma and karma yoga, that is given in the Bhagavad Gita itself. Karma yoga means yagya arthat karma. Yagya karma for the purpose of satisfaction of Lord Vishnu. That is known as karma yoga. That we have to understand very clearly.
Even the point about dharma, like, okay, so you follow your dharma, you work towards your dharma, but we must understand what is our dharma. That is also objective. It's not like a subjective.
Right,
It's not subjective. It doesn't matter what you think or I think. That is, dharma
right,
is described.
right,
Lord Krishna is the person who's establishing dharma. He has
right,
come,
right,
dharma stapana, right? So he tells us what is dharma.
right. And
And
one of his names is Dharma. One of his names
right,
in the Vishnu Sahasranam is
Dharma,
Dharma. Hmm. And another thing is, if we try to ascertain by our own intelligence what is dharma, then Shastra or scripture says, Dharmasya tattvam nihitam guhayam mahajano yena gatah sapantha. That actually, if we try to ascertain by our own intelligence, then we will find that dharma is hidden somewhere deep inside a cave and we are not able to find it. Dharmasya tattvam nihitam guhayam. We will become extremely confused. The best way is Mahajano yena gatah sampantha. What the previous authorities have given, the definitions of dharma and karma, those should be followed as it is. Because by following that, society was able to
right,
remain peaceful for millions of years. For millions of years, society was able to remain peaceful. Today, I am
right.
just giving a small example. Today people ask this question, many times people ask this question, we are in such a difficult time that we are having this pandemic all over us and we are having this difficult situation all around us, and the doctors are the people who are saving us today. Actually, that's what people say today, the doctors are the ones who are saving us today, huh?
Right, right, right.
But if I remind them that actually speaking, the virus was most likely invented in a medical lab by a person who was certified as a doctor. Please try to understand this thing. The virus was most likely created in a medical lab where people who were trained as doctors and physicians were working.
Well,
Hmm.
there's many theories about
Many
that.
theories
Some
about
are
it, right?
saying that there's from animals, and
Right,
it's a zoonotic virus.
right,
But I get the point where we think we are helping and we are
right,
playing God, we are playing
right,
the controller, but actually we keep shooting ourselves in the foot, like
right,
because we have so much progress and
right,
we've done so many wonderful things for civilization by mass producing animals and slaughterhouses that
right,
now the karma, that is karma.
right,
The karma is coming back in the cycle is that now we are getting these viruses from these animals that we have been abusing. So
right.
I mean, sorry to say, there are many theories of where the virus is coming from,
Right,
but
right.
the
Yeah,
point is
my main point is, we think that
right.
you know
uh,
by be- by becoming by making the society
for that
progress in a certain direction, we will
uh,
achieve true progress. But when we run in that direction, after some time, that very field of progress makes our society, it puts our society in a difficult position.
completely
And
destroys it to the point of, yes,
yes,
destruction.
yes, and this is true with all so-called fields of progress. You see, whether it is banking, whether it is medicine, if you progress beyond a certain extent in any field of modern progress, it uh, turns back on human society and starts hurting human society. So the traditional definition of karma, so the traditional way in which karma yoga was taught, in which human society remained peacefully for millions of years, that definition should definitely be studied by all individuals and should be applied in their lives.
Right. So the question here by Arvind Prasharji is, how can we evaluate our actions, and who decides if they are in line with our karma? So let's say we agree with what you're saying, Hari Parshad ji. We have faith in the Bhagavad Gita. Now, how do we? The question is very valid. कि कैसे पता चले कि अब क्या करना है? कर्म हमारा सही है या गलत है?
Right. So we have to perform karma in such a way that the Bhagavad Gita says that all karma has to be performed for the sake of satisfaction of Vishnu. Now, what is satisfaction of Vishnu? Satisfaction of Vishnu is given in the Shastra itself. Satisfaction of Vishnu is spoken by Vishnu in the Shastra itself. So, what is satisfaction of Vishnu? Satisfaction of Vishnu is given in the Bhagavad Gita, where he very clearly says that all the karma you are performing, you have to surrender the result to Vishnu. Surrender the activity to Vishnu, surrender the result to Vishnu. But what?
This line everybody knows. Don't be
Yeah.
attached to the yes.
Yeah.
Right.
So in the Bhagavad Gita, this is the definition of karma yoga, that any karma which is performed for the sake of satisfying Vishnu, which means it is offered to Vishnu. Not only the karma is offered to Vishnu, but also the result of the karma. Both these things are offered to Vishnu. That is appropriate karma in the Bhagavad Gita. That is very much the most appropriate type of karma that we can perform. Now, in this also, there are some things to be understood. For example, karma here mainly refers to sat karma. Sat karma means those varieties of karma which do not lead to the four pillars of committing papa. Papa is committing sinful activity. So, sinful activity means eating meat, intoxication, gambling, and furthering vyabhichar in society, furthering illicit relationships in society. These are the four pillars of sinful life. And anybody who performs karma in such a way that it does not violate the four regulative principles, that karma can be offered to Lord Vishnu. So once one is perfectly situated in good karma, sat karma, Vedic karma, that Vedic karma can be easily offered to Lord Vishnu. And how to offer karma to Lord Vishnu? Very simple. I my childhood. Yat kritam, yat karishyami, yat karomi janardhana, tubhyameva kritam sarvam, tvameva phalabhug bhave. Yat kritam, whatever I have done in the past, yat karishyami, whatever I will do in the future, yat karomi janardhana, and whatever I am doing in the present, tat padartham kritam sarvam, all of that I did for you. Tvameva phalabhug bhave, and you alone accept the result of that karma.
Beautiful. Every day, just chant this mantra.
Yeah. So and it is also, see, it's not only in popular literature, also in Srimad Bhagavatam also there is kayena vacha manasendriyaiva buddhyatmana vanusrita swabhavat karomi yat yat sakalam parasmai narayanayati samarpayami. So yes, so whatever I am doing through my body, minds and words, everything I surrender to Lord Narayan. Is also there in the Bhagavad Gita, that yat karoshi, yad ashnasi, yad juhoshi, dadasi, yat tapasyasi kaunteya tat kurushva mad arpanam. It's very clearly saying mad arpanam, that you have to offer everything to me. So it's right there in the Bhagavad Gita.
I like the distinction that you made, that this is true, because what we've just said, someone might say, well, then, I could be stealing or doing anything, and then I'll just offer it to Krishna or offer it to God. But that's not okay. That's not, Bhagwan ye nahi keh rahe ki kuch bhi, ganda kuch bhi kar lo aur mere मेरे को अर्पण कर दो, ऐसा नहीं कह रहे बिल्कुल भी. So the what you have clarified that it must not be adharma as well. It cannot be adharmic. So someone else has asked how many types of karma according to Krishna. So we shouldn't be doing vikarma, right? So maybe expand on the
So how many types of karma? There are infinite branches and sub branches of types of karma that are possible, but there are 4 main types of karma that produce papa as phal. What are those 4 main types of karma? First is to eat meat, that is to eat non-vegetarian foodstuffs. That is what produces papa. Then
violence.
Violence. Because of violence. Then intoxication, that is to consume intoxicants of any sort. Then gambling is getting free money without investing anything, that is gambling. And fourth is prostitution and furthering illicit relationships in society. So that these 4 are the pillars of vikarma or papa karma. And besides that, whatever is prescribed according to one's nature in the varna and ashram system, that becomes known as karma according to the Bhagavad Gita. So that karma should be performed. That which is according to one's nature in the system of varna and ashrama, that becomes known as karma in the Bhagavad Gita.
Yes, so you have to follow dharma and your swadharma. Your actions should be in line with your dharma and swadharma. Then only we can offer that to God. Not be kare. Do anything whimsically according to whatever you want and then offer it to God. So that's not that's not karma.
Right. See, if you do something else, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, paradharmo bhayavaha. Kisi aur ka dharma, performing somebody else's dharma is fearful. Why? It can lead to fear, because if we are not able to do it correctly, then we may get a negative reaction for it. But in any case, even if due to some reason we are performing paradharma, somebody else's dharma, at least we should ensure that it doesn't lead to papa, it doesn't lead to sin. Because any dharma which doesn't lead to sin can be offered to Krishna. For example, my nature is to teach, but due to some emergency I am not able to teach, I have to perform somebody else's dharma. But at least it's not sinful, so I can offer it to Krishna. But if I perform some karma which is sinful, eating meat, intoxication, gambling, etc., these things are not offerable to Krishna. So these things cannot be offered to Krishna in any way, so they cannot become part of Karma Yoga. And if they cannot become part of Karma Yoga, then definitely I cannot be known as a Karma Yogi if I am engaging in such activities.
Could we expand on the yogi part? Because it is possible theoretically to connect with the Supreme, to get that link, the yoga, to get that full siddhi. Is it possible? And why is bhakti yoga better? Like amongst all the different yogas,
Right.
Two-parted question: is karma in itself, is it enough to give us that perfection of life? Right. And then yes, so you understand me.
Right. So in the Bhagavad Gita, Karma Yoga has not been described as a destination. Karma Yoga has been described as a stepping stone, as a ladder towards attaining Jnana Yoga or Bhakti Yoga.
Bilkul.
Actually, Karma Yoga... Huh?
It's not an end, it's a mean.
No. Right. So when Krishna... No, not a goal. It's not that Krishna doesn't say that, till the end of your life, keep performing karma. When he say, and I'm speaking exactly where he says this, when he gives an example of a perfect karma yogi, Krishna says, karmanaiva hi samsiddhim prapnut janakadayah. So who attained perfection through karma yoga? So he gives the example of Janak Maharaj. But Janak Maharaj is known as a Jnana Yogi, which means from karma yoga he progressed on the platform of Jnana. So karmanaiva hi samsiddhim. Through karma, so means having karma yoga as an instrument, you can attain siddhi, which means siddhi is something different from karma yoga. So what is that Siddhi? Siddhi is Jnana Yoga and Bhakti Yoga. These two are platforms of Siddhi. So through Jnana and through Bhakti, Siddhi is attained. Siddhi is not through Karma Yoga in the Bhagavad Gita. There is no question of attaining Siddhi through only Karma Yoga. From Karma Yoga, you progress to the platform of Jnana Yoga or Bhakti Yoga, then you can definitely attain Siddhi. And the example given, Karmanaiva hi samsiddhim asthita janakadaya. This is the verse given in the 3rd chapter of Bhagavad Gita. I will specify the exact verse number so that there will
It
be
makes
no
complete sense.
confusion. Yeah. So this
Huh.
is verse number 20 of the 3rd chapter, where it is said, Karmanaiva hi samsiddhim asthita janakadaya. Through Karma Yoga, which means having Karma Yoga as a stepping stone, not as the final aim. As a stepping stone, Karma Yoga is there. And then people like Janak Maharaj have attained Jnana Yoga, and then others have attained Bhakti Yoga also. And thus, after becoming situated in that, they have attained perfection. So, Karma Yoga is not the goal of life. Jnana Yoga and Bhakti Yoga, these are the two aims of life given in the Bhagavad Gita very clearly. Now, today's society, people take pride in saying, oh, he was a Karma Yogi. But the fact is that Karma Yogi, he has to progress to Jnana Yoga or Bhakti Yoga. Then that is their Siddhi of Karma Yoga. See, even Arjuna, along with the Pandavas, retired from their kingdom. So the
Exactly.
most perfect student of the Bhagavad Gita, there is no better student of the Bhagavad Gita than Arjuna. He himself did not die in his kingdom. So he himself retired from his kingdom. They went and performed austerities. They went towards the Himalayas. They performed austerities, and that is where they have given up their bodies. So they have not died in their kingdom. So people who are having these misgivings that I will, die in my boots, die with my boots on.
Boots
So
on, on the battlefield, as if
right,
it's a glorious thing.
right,
We're so used to putting work and progress on such a high pedestal that we're very happy to die
right,
doing it. Our last
right,
breath, give it to Karma Yoga, as if
right,
okay, but that would be very unfortunate if that is all we understood from the Bhagavad Gita. So
right.
thank you for clarifying. There's so many
And there,
questions coming in. Just so you know, I know you can't see them, but there's many questions here. A lot of talk about pap makes you, pap and punya. Like obviously, karma is directly
right,
connected to all of that, but we want liberation from all of it. We
right.
don't
We
want
want,
somehow. Huh.
yeah. So we want a system which can liberate us from this cycle of papa and punya, this entire karma cycle, something which can liberate us. Because how many lifetimes are we going to perpetuate this cycle of karma? This lifetime is okay, next lifetime, another lifetime, another lifetime. After millions of lifetimes also, karma will never be exhausted. And there's no guarantee that we will get Bhagavad Gita in every life to help us. This life we got Bhagavad Gita, so we should
Make the most. A little
right,
tricky question here. Sorry, and
right,
I think I cut you off, but पांडव ने तो गैम्बलिंग किया था, तो अकॉर्डिंग
hmm.
टू यू तो फिर उसमें तो पाप मिला होगा, तो भगवान ने उन्हें क्यों सपोर्ट किया?
सो भगवान ने उनको गैम्बलिंग में सपोर्ट नहीं किया. उनको द्यूत क्रीड़ा खेलने का उनको जो गलत फल मिला वो मिला. उनको जो वनवास भोगा उन्होंने वो, हाँ, अगर भगवान मदद करते तो वनवास भोगना नहीं पड़ता उनको. भगवान ने उस कार्य में उनका मदद नहीं किया. भगवान ने उनके धर्म कार्य में उनका सहायता किया है. ये बात हमें याद रखना है.
Very
और
important distinction. Yes.
ये नहीं है कि उन्होंने जो भी गलत कार्य किए उसके लिए भगवान ने उनका फल हटा लिया. भगवान ने जो उनको फल भोगना था, 12 वर्ष का वनवास और 1 वर्ष का अज्ञातवास, वो उनको बराबर भोगना पड़ा. उसके साथ-साथ उनको जो कठिनाइयाँ हुई है, वो उनको हुई है. तो भगवान ने उनकी सहायता कब की? जब धर्म के पक्ष में खड़े थे वो और पाप कृत्य में नहीं लगे थे, उस समय भगवान ने उनकी परिपूर्ण रूप से सहायता की है. ये बात हमें
Very
समझनी चाहिए.
important point. I'm just going to repeat it in English. That Krishna did not, forgive the Pandavas for, get rid of their karma, their bad karma when they engaged in the gambling match and lost. And For anything that was adharmic on the part of the Pandavas, Krishna did not partake of it. So you cannot offer up your adharmic
Right.
adharmic karmas to Krishna and expect him to just sab kuch
Right.
mil gaya. Aisa nahi hai.
Right.
So you have
Even
to dharma.
even if it is, yeah, even if it is Bhishma, when Bhishma for the first time in his life he did not speak against the disrobing of Draupadi, that is the point of time where Bhishma also, did not speak in favor
Yes,
of Dharma.
dharma. That was wrong.
Yeah, and that is where his fate was also sealed. That this is in the battlefield, Bhishma's fate is sealed now.
So
So,
look at that. Whereas
right,
Bhishma and the Pandavas are not escaping their
right,
actions, inactions. Actually, the inaction of Bhishma got him into
right,
trouble.
right.
भीष्म देव को इसलिए पाप लगा क्योंकि उन्होंने कुछ किया नहीं ना ही कि कुछ गलत किया पर
जी,
so where are we, what hope we have? We must actually just, the goal should be to completely remove ourselves from the
right,
cycle of karma, right?
right. So there are two ways of removing oneself from the cycle of karma. One is to become completely and naturally fully detached from karma and to progress ahead on the path of Jnana Yoga. But for there is a stringent requirement to progress on the platform of Jnana Yoga. The stringent requirement is that in order to progress onto the platform of Jnana Yoga, one must give up completely all attachment to performing karma. A
Wow.
true Jnana Yogi cannot perform karma. And I'm giving an example. One of the perfected, Jnana Yogis in recent times is Sri Adi Shankaracharya. He's known as, he's a perfected Jnana Yogi. And you
Right.
see, all the disciples that he made were sannyasis. Not a single Grihastha disciple Sri Adi Shankaracharya has. Not a single Grihastha disciple.
Wow.
In one of the Grihasthas whom he had a discussion with, Shastric debate with, was Shri Mandan Mishra. And Shri Mandan Mishra was supporting Karma Kand. He was taking the paksha of karma, and Adi Shankaracharya took the paksha, or took the side of Jnana. And when Adi Shankaracharya won, after that, the first thing he did was Mandan Mishra became his disciple, and the first thing he did was he gave him sannyas. Because if you want to become a Jnana Yogi, the most important thing is to renounce. So those who are not renunciates, they cannot progress beyond a certain point in Jnana Yoga. Their progress is very limited.
Right. Makes sense.
So,
Makes sense.
so in order to become a Jnana Yogi, it is important to renounce the world. Very important to renounce the world. Now comes the remaining path, which is Bhakti Yoga. Now, Bhakti Yoga is such a neutral system of yoga. You can see in the Bhagavad Gita there are 18 chapters. First 6 chapters are Karma Yoga, middle 6 chapters are Bhakti Yoga, and final 6 chapters are Jnana Yoga. And Bhakti Yoga is situated in between so that it can nourish both. It can nourish both Karma Yoga on the left side and Jnana Yoga on the right side. So why is Bhakti Yoga situated in the heart of the Gita? Because Bhakti Yoga is actually the heart of the Gita. Let's be very honest, Bhakti Yoga is a neutral system of yoga. Why is it so? Because Bhakti Yoga does not expect any prerequisites from us except for Shraddha. The only prerequisite is that we should have Shraddha, we should have faith, innate faith in the process of Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti Yoga doesn't even expect us to have a lot of renunciation or complete renunciation of the world. And even a person who is Grihastha can take to the path of Bhakti Yoga.
Yeah.
So let me see, it's today the mathas or the institutions which were established by Adi Shankaracharya, he established 4 mathas in India. You see, even today, the heads of those 4 mathas are today sannyasis. Every head of every matha established by Adi Shankaracharya has to be a sannyasi. There cannot be a grihastha who is adhikari or who is eligible for taking the position of a perfected jnana yogi in Adi Shankaracharya's sampradaya. So sannyas is compulsory in order to become a Gyan Yogi. But if you see a Bhakti Yogi institution, for example, there are so many. There are Shri Vaishnavas, there is Nimbarka Sampradaya, there is Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, and we have Goswamis. Goswamis means they were also Grihasthas who were initiating disciples. So a Grihastha is also qualified, to become a yogi in the Bhakti Yoga system. So Bhakti Yoga is the only system which allows a grihastha, right, to make complete progress and achieve perfection. And we see 99% of human society is eligible for grihastha ashram. This we have to understand. Today's situation is such that 99% of human society is eligible for grihastha ashram.
Brahmacharya sannyas is not, it's not
Yeah,
possible in a real
yeah,
sense.
yeah. And
It's only
sannyas is,
recommended.
yeah, sannyas is anyways not very much recommended in today's age. Ashwamedham Gavalambam Sannyasam Palapatrikam Devarena Sutotpatti Kalau Pancha Vivarjayet. It's one of the things which is not recommended in Kali Yuga to take sannyas. But still, even if people take sannyas, the quantity of sannyasis is very, little as compared to the general human society. The general human society, 99%, is well situated in Grihastha ashram, and for them Bhakti Yoga is the neutral system of yoga which does not expect any prerequisites from them.
Beautiful. It's wonderful. It also answers this question here, just to briefly break it up. What is a more powerful way to achieve God, renunciation or selfless service? Matlab, nishkam karma ya tyag. Actually,
Yeah,
what you're saying is none of those, from before what you said, none of those will actually get you siddhi.
right.
आपने पहले
So
कहा कि
selfless service means service unto Vishnu is selfless service. Yagyarthat karma. If you want to know what is selfless service, the simple definition of selfless service is Yagyarthat karma. Karma for Yagya, and who is Yagya? Yagyo vai Vishnu.
right.
Vishnu himself is Yagya. So selfless service means service towards Lord Vishnu is known as selfless service. That is the definition. That is what, that is the most that is one of the most powerful ways of achieving God.
And it also highlights, I just wanted to again highlight the point that you were saying कि सिर्फ त्याग से हम भगवान को प्राप्त नहीं कर सकते, सिर्फ
Right.
सेवा, जन सेवा या समाज सेवा, because the idea a lot of the times, we hear this a lot, that just by serving others and by renunciation, like you're saying, the sannyasis, why is it not recommended a truly renunciate life? Is because it's too difficult to do, and
Right.
even if you did it properly, without the element of surrender and bhakti, you cannot actually achieve perfection. Is that correct?
Right. 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 Let me give a interesting example. Suppose I have to conduct a fire sacrifice, yagya. Now in yagya we have to offer some ahuti, some oblations. Now if tomorrow I start a new way of thought and saying, why should I offer oblations in the fire? I can offer oblations anywhere in the yagya. Wherever there is yagya, I can, in the anywhere in the courtyard of the yagya, I can offer oblations.
Yeah.
And that is why. So if I try to perform a yagya in this way, then people will say that you do not correctly understand what is yagya. You can do everything centered around the yagya, but the oblation has to be offered in one single place, and that is to offer oblations in the fire.
Yes.
So everything that we are doing in life, that's okay, but the offering has to be given unto Vishnu. But if the offering is not given to Vishnu, then the offering will be given to so many other entities who are not Vishnu, and then it cannot be called as karma yoga.
Right. That's a fantastic point. Before I should stop taking. There's so many questions here, because I do want you to continue about bhakti as we were talking. Last question I'll take, and then we'll continue with what you were saying. This is a very common question that I seem to, a lot of people ask is, Sab agar hamare aspas adharmik hai, everyone is misbehaving. If everyone around me is Duryodhan, why should I be Yudhishthir? Why should I
Right.
continue to be nice to them? And uh, what is the
Right. Yeah, the benefit is because there are people around us who are adharmic, but if we are intelligent, then we don't want to entangle ourselves with their karma. We don't want to, entangle ourselves in this entire web of adharma that is around us. Because if
Right.
we are truly a spiritual person, then we will understand that this world is not a fit place for a gentleman or a gentlewoman. This world is not a fit place for people who are sadhus. So the best way is to get out of this cycle of karma. And one good thing about the modern world is that even though they are adharmic, they at least give you your private space. You do whatever you want. Let us do. So so this facility or this personal freedom which is allotted to individuals in the modern world is a very good type of freedom, because by utilizing this freedom in a proper way, we, at least in our individual personal lives, can ensure that we are following the path of dharma. How do we follow the path of dharma? Very simple, that the four principles of dharma, satyam, shaucham, daya, tapah, that do not kill animals for, or do not indulge in violence for food, do not consume intoxicants, do not indulge in gambling, and do not indulge in relationships which are illicit in nature. So these four principles of religiosity, if they are maintained, then dharma is automatically maintained. Then whatever else we may do, we can offer to Lord Vishnu by a very simple prayer. Yat kritam yat karishyami yat karomi janardana tat padartham kritam sarvam tvameva falabhuk bhave. So we can just simply say in our mind that, oh dear Krishna, whatever I have done today, whatever I have done in the past, and whatever I'll do in the future, everything I offer unto you. If we can't pronounce the Sanskrit, at least we can pronounce the feeling of that prayer in our
Yes.
local language.
Right. So with going back to the bhakti aspect, which you were touching upon before, that
Right.
bhakti nourishes both karma and jnana, and it
Right.
has elements of both within it. So it
Right.
is not that once we become a bhakta, or we have to just sit and just do bhajan all day long. That's the only
Right.
way, and we have to be a sannyasi. Or if you could just expand on what you were saying, that it is neutral ground, and it's very extremely subtle. Simple.
Right.
Simple.
Right. Right. So first and foremost, we have to understand what is the difference between karma yoga and bhakti yoga. Because karma yoga means we are working for the satisfaction of Vishnu. Now somebody may say that is bhakti. Working for satisfaction of Vishnu is what it is bhakti. But there is a very subtle difference between karma yoga and bhakti yoga, and this difference should be understood. Karma yoga means I am doing what is my propensity, what I like to do, and the result as well as activity I am dedicating to Vishnu. That is karma yoga.
Huh.
Bhakti yoga is I do what Krishna likes me to do. That is bhakti yoga.
Kya baat hai.
So there is a very subtle difference. Karma yoga is what I like to do according to my inclination, and I offer it to Krishna. Bhakti yoga is I do what Krishna likes. So
Right.
that is a very big difference. And what does Krishna like? Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atmanivedanam. This is Bhakti yoga. And Karma yoga is Yat Karoshi, Yad Ashnashi, Yad Juhosi, Dadasi, Yat Tapasyasi, Kaunteya, Tat Kurushva, Madarpanam.
हाँ, जो
So there is
करना
a
करिए, भगवान बहुत प्रेम, मतलब प्रेम से भरे हुए हैं. ही इज नॉट
right.
कठोर कि ये नहीं करो, वो नहीं करो, जो करना है करिए. और
Correct. हाँ.
यस.
पाप पाप मत कीजिए, पर
हाँ.
जो आपको आपके सत्कर्म है, whatever good karma you can perform according to your nature, you offer to Vishnu, so that becomes karma yoga. But doing what Vishnu likes, doing what Krishna likes, that is bhakti yoga. Now what does Vishnu like, what does Krishna like, that is given in the Bhagavad Gita itself, as well as in the Srimad Bhagavatam itself, where Krishna says, Manmana bhav mad bhakto mad yaji mam namaskuru, where Krishna says in the very final chapter of the Gita
Yes.
that actually you offer your obeisances to me, you become my devotee, and you worship me. So that is bhakti yoga. That is what Krishna personally likes. Because millions of people may have their own inclinations and they can keep offering their karma to Krishna. And that is karma yoga. But bhakti yoga is something doing what Krishna likes. Entering into Krishna's personal choice and serving Krishna and trying to please him
Because
instead of
that
trying
is
to
love.
please ourselves. Right. That
Yes.
is love. That is
Fulfillment is
love.
love.
Right.
You can't
That
do
is what.
that. You can't fake it. इसको हम
Right.
फेक नहीं कर सकते कि आप जो आपको जो अच्छा लगे वही हम करेंगे. It's only you
Right.
only do that for somebody you truly
Right.
have love for.
Right. Or somebody who has genuine interest in knowing what Bhagwan likes, somebody who is beyond their selfish nature and beyond what I like,
Yes.
such a person who can think about what Bhagwan likes, what Krishna likes, they are qualified to become Bhakti Yogis.
Yes.
And for this reason, Krishna in the 12th chapter of Gita, because I have to quote Bhagavad Gita's words as it is so that people know that these words are coming from the Gita. In the 12th chapter of Gita, Yo mad bhakta same priya, Yo mad bhakta same priya. Repeatedly he is saying,
Repeat. It's so beautiful. It's so wonderful.
and many times he says, Yoginam api sarvesham mad gater antaratmana, Shraddhavan bhajate yo mam, same yukta tamo mata. The yogi who is my devotee is considered by me to be the highest type of yogi. Now, the entire society may give a different opinion about what is the highest type of yogi, but Krishna's opinion is that uh, um, Shraddhavan bhajate yo mam sa me yukta tamo mata. Somebody who is bhakti yogi is actually the best type of yogi in my opinion. Krishna says this is my opinion.
Right.
So we
But
have to decide whose opinion we have to take.
and also for me, I just feel like if we take to karma yoga, there's so many pitfalls. If we take to
Right.
gyan, how much gyan can we possibly uh, fill in our head? But the beauty of bhakti is that you can do even the most minimal amount, and if the intention is there, then Krishna will help. Krishna will
Right.
help us along the path because, as it says, you take one step, he takes 10 steps. And you can feel that it's very subtle, it's very easy, it's very pleasing. The process is not hard. It's not like,
Right.
it's not a difficult, pitfall filled process. It's
Right. And there is one very important thing about bhakti yoga, which contrasts it from karma yoga and jnana yoga, because karma yoga is a process to achieve a goal. Like karma yoga is a means to achieve a certain goal. Through karma yoga we can attain jnana yoga. Now jnana yoga is also a means to attain a goal. Through jnana yoga we attain moksha or liberation. So that is
right,
the purpose of Jnana Yoga. Now, Bhakti Yoga is the means as well as the goal. So, what does a Bhakti Yogi finally want? Finally, he wants to perform Bhakti. That's all. Nothing. He doesn't. He doesn't have any ulterior desire. If you
right,
ask a Jnana Yogi, what do you want? So they will say, what if you say, why are you indulging in so much jnana? Will say to realize that aham brahmasmi, that I am Brahma. So that means he is cultivating a certain process to attain a certain goal. But if you ask a bhakti yogi, why are you cultivating bhakti? So the answer will be so that I can get more bhakti. So the process is the means as well as the goal. So that is the beauty about bhakti yoga, that the means and the goal are exactly the same. What
right.
you do here in the material world is what you are going to
It's
do
the
in the
same thing you do.
spiritual world.
The
That's all.
same thing you do. Wow. Wonderful. Should we take a few more questions, even though time is up, but there's so many questions here.
Sure, sure, definitely.
Just wanted, there was one question about what is the point of karma coming in the next life? And if we are practicing bhakti, do we still get karma? What is the
Right,
relationship between bhakti?
right. So one thing is that those who are practicing either jnana yoga or bhakti yoga, for both of them their karma is destroyed. All their karma is destroyed except for one karma, which is called as prarabdha karma. Prarabdha karma is the karma which we are facing in this life. only the karma which we have to face in this life, in this body. That
Sorry,
prarabdha karma.
the first sentence I didn't catch entirely
See,
what the meaning was.
see, the meaning is, the question is, if we are performing bhakti yoga, what happens to our karma? So, karma, all the karma which we were supposed to experience in future lives, all that karma is completely destroyed. Huh?
In
Even,
future lives.
no, in this life, it's while we are performing jnana yoga and bhakti yoga, in this life itself, all future karma that we are supposed to experience will already be destroyed, so that we don't have a future life. But
Acha.
that karma which we are supposed to experience in this life, that karma we have to experience, because that is called as prarabdha karma. Because if that karma is also lost, then this body will be lost. So for maintaining this body,
Yeah, but
that karma also has to be maintained. I will clarify
very,
this. Yeah,
very
very.
deep.
I'll clarify this. See, karma is of three types. Everybody should understand karma is of three types. First is called as sanchit karma. Second is called as kriyamana karma. Okay, so first is called as sanchit karma. Sanchit karma, then prarabdha karma, kriyamana karma. Three types of karma are there. I will explain. First is sanchit. Sanchit karma means stockpiled karma. Karma which is stockpiled. So all the lives that we have taken previously, all the human lives that we have taken previously, all the karma that we have performed in them, that is stockpiled, and that stockpile of karma is called as sanchit karma. Now, when we have taken this current body, so a tiny portion of that stockpiled karma has been put into this body, that is called as prarabdha karma, or the karma which we are experiencing in this body. But there is still a huge stockpile remaining, which will fructify in future lives. And then there is new karma which we are creating through this body, that is called as kriyamana karma. That is the third variety of karma. That karma gets added to sanchit karma, to the stockpile. And I will explain this using a very simple analogy. For example, if there is a bowman, there is an archer. So there is a bowman, he has a quiver of bows. So he takes an arrow out, a quiver of arrows, he takes an arrow and he shoots an arrow. And after shooting the arrow, he sits down and he crafts a new arrow, and he puts that new arrow back in his quiver. So
Hmm.
that quiver of arrows is sanchit karma, or stockpiled karma. Hmm. Then that arrow which he has already shot, which cannot be stopped, is known as prarabdha karma. And then the new arrow which he is creating, which he will add to his stockpile, is known as kriyamana karma. There are three types of karma. Two of them are destroyed. The stockpiled karma is destroyed, and the karma which he is performing right now, that karma will also be destroyed. But
Wow.
that karma which he has to experience in the present body, that karma has to be experienced by the yogi, by the jnana yogi, and also to a large extent by the bhakti yogi. The bhakti yogi can do something to minimize it, but still some fractions have to be experienced by the jnana yogi and the bhakti yogi.
Absolutely. Wow, and just mind blowing. And because even though I've heard this so many times, it's just always good to remind yourself again. And also
Right.
to just to clarify, when you were just talking about these three types of karma, you're talking about the reactionary karma.
Reactionary karma.
Karma can be both action and reaction.
Yeah,
So
karma is both a verb as well as a noun. So I'm speaking about the noun karma, not the verb karma.
because the noun karma, what we are no, the verb, I'm confused.
Verb.
But the karma that you're doing now can
Hmm.
also have different varieties like sakam,
Right.
akam,
Right.
right? You've got different. So that's also separate. Just to clarify the difference, that both the actions that we're doing right now are also karma, and then the reactions that we'll be feeling later on, or
Right.
you already felt, is
Right.
interesting. And you're
The
saying
reaction is known as karma phala. Technically, it is known as karma phala, and the action is known as karma.
karma.
So all the karma phala, or all the fruits of the karma, they are all destroyed except for this body. This one body we have to live out. And
Right.
once this one, after this body, this perfection has been attained in this body, then no more bodies to take. But in order to do that, we should either be a Jnana Yogi or a Bhakti Yogi. In both of them also, for a Jnana Yogi, we have to renounce. But for a Bhakti Yogi, there is no need of immediate renunciation in order to take to the path of Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti Yoga itself will produce natural renunciation.
Wow. There you go. There you have it. Simple, and don't even have to renounce, and all of your prarabdha, I mean, your sankshipt karmas will be wiped away. I can't think of more reasons to be following it. If there's any more questions here, thank you for clarifying the difference. There's a lot of people asking about why do we have karmas from the. Okay, let's answer that one. Why do we have karma from the past if we don't remember that we have done something wrong? Why is it that Krishna has made a system where we don't remember what we have done?
Okay. Why do we have a system where we don't remember what we have done in the past? Because if we remember what we have done in the past, then all the attachments of the past will also come along with it. And if all the attachments of the previous life also come along with it, then how can a person truly move on to the next life? A person can only truly move on to the next life if they are given a fresh start. You see, the body gets old, and after the body gets old, they have to be given a new body. Now, if they have to be given a new body, should they be given a new body with old attachments, or should they be given a new body with new attachments? The
Not
question
at
is,
all. Because if I think about it, let's say you hate someone in your last life, that
right,
hatred would be so difficult to get rid of in this life,
right,
and
right,
it would be
right,
horrific to remember
right,
all of your past lives.
right. Let's say somebody is on a death row and they're executed, and on the
Oh,
next life they remember that, in
Krishna.
my previous life I was executed.
Huh.
So should they be given a fresh start, or should they remember all the attachments from previous lives? The natural answer is they should be given a fresh start. So in order to give a fresh start, the memory has to be erased. Now, when is the memory erased? That is also specified. The memory is erased at the exact time when they take birth, not when they enter the womb. The exact time at which they take birth, which means 9 months after entering into the womb of the mother, because even within the womb of the mother, they are remembering their previous lives. It is specified in Shastra. So the time at which they come out of the womb of their mother, that excruciating pain is what makes them forget the previous lives.
Wow, we don't want to take birth again. Anyone
Right.
listening, get out and not remember that pain again. Wow,
Right.
that is very, very profound and powerful. And it's so true because a lot of times people want to blame God. Oh, what kind of broken system? कि हमको कुछ याद भी नहीं तो हम क्यों कर्म का फल भुगते?
Right.
Like we don't remember the past. Why should we be responsible for the? But
Right.
actually, it's a mercy of the Lord. It's a kindness of that the Lord is showing us that we don't remember how many times we have died. Do we want to remember every death that we've had, the millions of deaths and the millions of births and billions of attachments?
Right.
That So if we change the perspective, that is what bhakti is about,
Right.
shifting the perspective
Right.
towards,
Awareness. Yes.
yeah, and gratitude and like in positive inclination towards Krishna, right?
Right.
To have that priti towards God, then you can understand everything he does is for kindness. Everything he does is because he cares for us. It's not because he wants to punish us. And
Right.
so, if anything you want to add as
Yeah.
last,
So
what is
yeah. There.
bhakti? If you can end on that.
What is?
Sorry, pure bhakti, true
What's
bhakti,
pure?
or
Right.
any end comments.
Okay. So what is pure bhakti? Actually, if we try to define what is pure bhakti, there is only one definition in the entire world, which is a 360-degree definition of pure bhakti, and that's given by Sri Rupa Goswami in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. He says, Anyabhilashita shunyam jnana karmadi anavritam anukulyana krishnanu shilanam bhaktir uttama. He says he's supposed to define bhakti in his book, but Rupa Goswami says, I'm not going to define bhakti. I don't want to define just bhakti. I want to define Uttama Bhakti, pure Bhakti. There's a reason for that. He says because suppose somebody asks us, please bring me a glass of water. So do we bring them 4 glasses of water and say this is fully impure water? This is partially impure water. This is almost pure water. And this is fully pure water. Or do we only bring them 1 glass of water? So the natural answer is that we bring them only 1 glass of water. And which glass is that? Is fully pure glass of water. So Sri Rupa Goswami says, I don't want to define bhakti which is mixed with other things. If I have to define bhakti, I will separate it from all the impurities and I am going to define Uttama Bhakti, not simply bhakti. So he defines what is Uttama Bhakti, bhakti which is having no trace of impurities. He says, Anya Abhilashita Shunyam. If you want to listen to what is pure bhakti has 3 characteristics. He says, Anya Abhilashita Shunyam. All desires besides the desire for bhakti should be zero. This is the first characteristic. Anya Abhilashita Shunyam. All desires besides the desire for bhakti should be zero. This is the first characteristic. Jnana Karma Adi Anavritam. You should have jnana, you should have some karma in your life, but they should not be the most important goals of your life. The most important goal of your life should be bhakti. Your jnana and karma should not overtake bhakti. And the third and the most important thing is anukulyana krishnanu shilanam, favorably rendering all services to Krishna. This is called as bhakti. If you fulfill these 3 criteria, Anya Abhilashita Shunyam, all personal desires besides the desire for bhakti should be zero. Jnana Karma Adi Anavritam, the main goal of your life should be bhakti, not jnana or karma. And Anukulyena Krishnanu Shilanam, remaining always favorable towards Krishna and rendering favorable service to Krishna. This is defined as pure bhakti. And rendering favorable service means all varieties of service is bhakti then. Wearing a garland of Krishna is also bhakti, or walking towards the temple of Krishna is also bhakti. Then all activities become bhakti.
Right. So you're still doing the karmas, you're still doing the actions, daily actions, and externally you could be looking like just any other karmavadi, karmi, but internally. So it is an internal.
Right. It's an internal thing that you are, first and foremost, you are doing everything for the pleasure of Krishna. That is karma yoga. But you're also specifically doing those things which Krishna says, I like. What do you like? Shravanam, Kirtanam, hear about me, chant about me, come in the association of devotees. That is bhakti.
Wow. And the first one, in the beginning, I keep saying bhakti is easy, but the first line, Anya Abhilashita Sunyam.
Anya
Shunyam,
Abhilash.
right?
Sunyam.
Anya.
Right.
So meaning having no other desires. Now that seems very difficult. So what what will help with that? To not have, is that even possible for us? And how to attain that?
Yeah, it's definitely possible for us. It may not be in the immediate run. See, that's why it is called as a textbook definition. A textbook definition means that it is supposed to specify the highest standard. Maybe most people who are practicing bhakti yoga may not be able to live up to the textbook definition, but that doesn't mean that the definition should be brought down. The definition should stay wherever. Just like in mathematics there are, or physics, there are formulae in physics textbooks. In real life there may be errors in those formulae, but doesn't mean that the textbook definition should be changed.
It should be changed.
Right. So the textbook definition is always going to remain as it is, but individuals may be able to execute bhakti yoga according to their own capabilities. But in any case, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that na me bhakta pranashyati, that whatever, even if my devotee is not able to live up to the highest standards, he will certainly not be destroyed. I will personally take care of him and I will ensure that such a person reaches me very quickly. Because in the 12th chapter he says that I am tesham aham samuddharta mrityu sansara sagarat. I am the one who personally delivers them from the repeated cycle of birth and death. So I'm going to take care of everything else, but the devotee should start on this path. Once they start on this path, perfection will gradually be ensured.
Wow, that is absolutely fantastic to hear. So just to summarize, unless please, if you have any more,
You can go ahead. You can go ahead and
well, just
summarize.
I'll do my tiny summary, and then please, if you have some closing words. I just feel so enlivened right now because even though I've heard all of this before, it's just very nice to get the clarity that you've provided that karma is, first you said that actually it cannot give you the ultimate goal. It
Right.
cannot give you the siddhi that we require, perfection of this life. No matter what you're doing, karma yoga will not give you the ultimate goal. Then we talked about how jnana yoga, you need renunciation for it, but how bhakti is in this neutral state. It has both elements of jnana and karma. You must do your actions as long as we are doing them to please the Lord. So karma yoga is we offer all of our actions. Whatever we are doing, we offer the action and the phala, the karma
Right.
and the karma phala, we offer to Sri Krishna, and that will erase our reactions possibly. But
Right.
bhakti is different than that. Bhakti is one step further, where we are doing things that are pleasing to the Lord. We are not just doing things that we like or that is our dharma. We are doing things to, so that the distinction there is taking into account Krishna's preference.
Right.
Who is the Lord? We have to understand who God is. What does he prefer? What does he do? Who does he hang out with? What does he eat? All these things then have to become part of our life. Then we can approach bhakti. And what
and these definitions of karma yoga that have suddenly cropped up recently, that just do your duty and be selfless, and just do good to everyone in the society. So these definitions may sound very nice, but they cannot stand the test of time, because these definitions are situated on a shaky relative platform, not on an absolute platform. The absolute platform, the absolute definition of karma yoga is satisfy Vishnu through your swadharma. This is the absolute definition, which does not need any change. The absolute definition of bhakti yoga is satisfy Vishnu through what Vishnu likes to do. That is bhakti yoga.
Yes, and that is the only yoga that will remove all of our phala, which will not bind us into future lives and births and lives and the samsara chakra. If we want to really truly liberate ourselves, we must bring Vishnu, bring the yajna purusha into the. Otherwise we are simply, no matter how many societies and people we serve, no matter how selfless we are still bound by the karmic reaction of good and bad, right?
Because
if have to go.
Because once we remove Vishnu from the picture, once we remove Lord Narayan from the picture, the entire beauty of Vedic culture is lost. See, the entire beauty of Vedic culture is in having Lord Narayan at the center. Once you remove him from the center, then there is absolutely no beauty remaining, and everything becomes situated on a shaky relative platform. Everything is there if the center is there. Once the center is lost, then nothing will remain.
The foundation.
The foundation has to be Vishnu. The foundation has to be Vishnu.
Yes, absolutely. So I think I summarized to the best of my ability. If there's any more parting words you wanted to add.
Nothing, just that I'm very thankful that I was invited to speak on this wonderful topic. And यदत्र स्खलितं किंचित् विद्वांसः पूरयन्तु तत् यदत्र सौष्ठवं किंचित् तद्गुरोरेव मेनहि. यदत्र स्खलितं किंचित्, that if there was any mistake in the presentation, vidvamsah purayantu tat, may the learned souls purify it. Yadatra saushthavam kinchit, but if there was anything nice in the presentation, please understand that tat guroreva menahi, it belongs to my Guru Maharaj. Yeah, it
Yes.
doesn't come to me.
Same here. Please forgive me for any mistakes. And we're really looking forward to continuing these discussions because I feel so enlivened personally. I'm sure the people listening will also be able to resonate with this feeling of real gratitude that we've been able to discuss Hari Katha, as they say. This is all auspicious, sacred sound vibration when we're just trying to understand our relationship with the Supreme. So please join us regularly. Every Saturday, we'll try to come on live and speak about the Supreme Person and his words and wisdom and give thanks to all the Guru Janas. So thank you so much to Hari Parshad Prabhu.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
To all of you listening, thank you very much. Please do share this with anyone you think would benefit. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.